What's good, Revs fam? My name's Chris, and you're watching Revs Revolt. Alright, welcome back. Thank you guys so much for tuning back in again. I appreciate it so much. I always love getting the support, and it has been way too long since I've made an official video for this channel. So thank you so much for your time. Thank you for your patience on getting this out. And we got to talk about the state of the club. I mean, it's been too long since I've addressed this club as a whole and said, what are we doing? Where are we going? There's so many question marks, and I can't be the only one that goes into every single game with almost unrealistic expectations. They're so high. And then after almost every single game again, you just get crushed and you just feel like it's the same team. I don't care what changes we're making, what additions we're making. We're getting the same team week in and week out as we did 3 years ago, as we did 5 years ago, 7, 10, 15. Make your pick. We seem to not be able to get ahead of the curve in MLS. And so let's just jump into that. I think the first thing that we got to look at is the form. And since 2019, according to my shoddy research, we have only one time seen this inspiring. That was in 2019, from June 29th through July 27th, we won 5 out of 6 games. Other than that, every other time we win, we either lose or draw the next game. And that's a problem. That's a mental problem. I don't know what it takes to get past that. Of course, that string of games that we won was all once Bruce Arena took over from the nightmare that was Brad Friedel. But what happened to that team? Obviously, we haven't lost any players that were on that pitch necessarily, except for maybe Juan Agudelo. And Juan Agudelo is not winning you games. And every other player that we've lost, Gabriel Somi, whom we lost in the middle of the 2019 season, wasn't even there for that whole run and is, again, not an impact player. And then in the offseason, we've just been bringing in more talent and bringing back old Revs talent now, too. On paper, this team should be 10 times better than the team that Bruce inherited last year. Why is it not working? That's the first thing that we need to look at. And what is with the mental toughness or the lack thereof of this team? Because, as I'm saying, we can't string together solid performances. We're not winning any games in a row. And if we win a game, we're not putting a ton of goals in the net. That's a problem. So we got to look at the mental aspect now. Because if we're not putting these games together, then something is just not clicking. We don't have the hunger to fight for winning games consecutively. Maybe there's not enough desperation in the team. Maybe players are getting too comfortable. I don't know what it is. But we're seeing a lack of discipline. We're seeing players not stick to their position so much. Maybe that's what Bruce is doing. I know he is very loose with his positional lineups, and he likes players to float around. But if you play a specific position, such as if you're an attacking position, you still need to be there in the attack. You need to be there when the ball is getting crossed from a Brandon Bye or Alex Butner cross. And Brandon Bye is a piece I'm going to touch on in a minute too. But where is all our attacking players? Where is all the secondary runs? There's no support in the attack. And these games that we're winning, we're lucky to win. These games that we are drawing, we're lucky to draw. We are beyond lucky, to use that word over and over and over again, to be able to have a Henry Kessler who has played 7 or 8 games professionally in his career, and he's playing out of his mind right now. Andrew Farrell has been shaky at best. Still a huge Farrell fan here, but he needs to up his game a little bit. You know, he's had his off games that have almost cost us games. And then we have our U.S. men's national team hopeful. Well, he's on the team, hopeful to get a cap. You know, Matt Turner in net, making insane cat-like saves. So in the back, we are so blessed to be having this, and we can't put together any attack. We can't keep the ball in the midfield. Players are making the wrong decisions. They are choosing to take on the defender one-on-one, 1v1, when there's much better passing options. Or they're choosing to make a pass when they should be trying to slow down the play or maybe pass back, and they're looking to advance it. So there's a lot of mental errors happening week in and week out. And it's frustrating. From a fan's perspective, what are we supposed to do? We just complaining constantly, and that's our fan base right now. We want better, we deserve better, we need better. Where's that going to come from? So let's look at the players. I'm going to list off some players and talk about what their role is on the team, or lack thereof. And we're going to start with Christian Penilla. What is his role supposed to be on this team? How is he supposed to be integrating himself? What happened to Christian Penilla from 2018? The Ecuadorian DeLorean. That player is no longer there. He is not the same player that we've seen before. He has fallen off. Bruce is trying him in very different positions. He cannot play the 10 role. I do not like seeing him there. He does not make smart decisions. I want him to be sitting in the corner flag trying to pass back to Alex Butner and let Butner take the cross. That's all that I've been seeing from Penilla this year that I think he should be doing. I'm kind of rambling on this one a bit because I'm just still flabbergasted that Penilla gets the nod week in and week out. And now he's taken a spot away from younger players like Tajon Buchanan, who just this past weekend scored his first career goal, which, by the way, was a great 1-2 play with Gustavo Bo, and that's something that we need more of. That was great creativity, ingenuity, whatever you want to call it, at the top of the box, breaking through, composure with his finish. And I would much rather see Tajon Buchanan or another young winger possibly out there instead of Penilla. I am done with the Penilla experiment. I don't know if he's going to put it together. I don't know what the trade window looks like this year because of COVID and all that. So if the trade window is still open, please find someone to trade Penilla to. We need to get something for him. He's not doing it for us. I don't see Penilla sticking around for next year. And let's just jump right down that list. We're not stopping with Penilla. Michael Mancienne. I'm not sitting here trying to call out all the players that are underperforming, but why is he still on this roster? What value does he provide? I understand he's like the 5th center back on the roster. But why do we have such a high paid player that is that low on the depth chart? What value does he provide for this club? And he is almost never starting, and when he is playing, he's making mistakes. Again, another player that I really enjoy watching and want to see him flourish, but he's just not doing it. And I gotta say, Brad Feldman made the point, it might have been Charlie Davies actually, one of the two made the point that as soon as Michael Mancienne gets flustered once or makes one mistake, it sticks in his head. And that goes right back to the last point I was talking about, mentality. This team lacks a lot of mentality. It lacks composure. And Mancienne is not exempt from those two elements. Diego Fagundes. I love my Diego. I want to see him score more goals. I want to see him continue to roll on this legacy that he's creating for himself with the New England Revolution. A homegrown signing. Since he was 15 years old. He's got 10 years of professional soccer under his belt, and he's only 25 years old. But yet we've turned down several different transfer offers for him over the years. And right now it's looking like really bad business because he doesn't seem to be able to adapt to MLS 3.0 or whatever we're calling it now. 2020 MLS is too fast and too strong of a game for Diego Fagundes to keep up with. And I would like to see maybe an Isaac Eng can come up. We need to bring up some more younger players from Revs 2, and I know I said earlier this year I don't want Isaac Eng to come up. That's just an example. I want to see some young guys come up from Revs 2. I think Diego is kind of occupying a roster spot right now and not really delivering on it. So I'd like to see another piece there. And then Brandon Bai. What is Brad Feldman on about? Brandon Bai is having an all-star caliber year. Maybe that's because there's no all-star game and everybody's having an all-star caliber year. I don't know. But I don't see it. He's getting beat defensively, and his crossing is kind of atrocious. He started out the year, first 2 matches, I thought that we had one of the best right backs in the league. And then after COVID hit and MLS's back tournament, and now back to the MLS regular season, as regular as we can call it, he has been less than a shell of himself. And it's just mind-boggling that he's still out there, and he's making poor crosses, poor decisions, and he's losing the ball in 1v1 battles. And that's pretty much it for the players that I'm singling out here. And again, I'm not trying to just single out players just to crap on them. I want them to succeed. I want them to do better, but they are not working at the moment. And something needs to be done, whether it's opening up the roster spots or finding a way to actually utilize their skill set. Another player that I want to talk about was Matt Polster, who has been up and down, I would say, in his short tenure so far with the Revolution. He has, I didn't look up the amount of games, I apologize, but in his few games that he's played, he has been a pretty solid 6 for us, and he's been facilitating a lot of nice passes out the back, and you can see he's got a lot of that skill, and he's playing aggressive. We have missed a defensive midfielder that's played aggressive for a long time now, but that can bite you in the butt as well. This past weekend, again, going back to this past weekend, he picked up a yellow card very early within the first 10 minutes and did not stop playing aggressive, and then picked up that second yellow card, which I thought was a bit harsh, but if you want to talk by the rule of the book, yeah, that's a yellow. Second yellow, you kind of have to give it. Red card, he's off in the 53rd minute or whatever it was. It was really difficult, and the Revs never seemed to really bounce back after that. And that's, again, not having the discipline to know that you're playing on a yellow card. And a quick sidebar on that topic, too, is that last weekend's game, the pro officiating was atrocious. And I'm not just saying that because we lost the game and there was a lot of poor calls, but it went both ways. For both Philadelphia and for the Revolution, calls were not being made with any sort of balance. Revolution were getting away with things that Philadelphia wasn't, and Philadelphia definitely got away with some things that the Revolution didn't. They had at least 2 chances to get a second yellow card on several different players, and one of the plays was the exact same play that Polster got his second yellow on. So I'm pretty sick and tired of seeing the same old pro officiating in MLS week in and week out. But we can't harp on that too long. You can't control what the officiating is doing. All you can do is react to it and be better than it. So that's my 2 cents on that. Before I get further on pro, because I think that's a separate video on its own, let's talk Bucsa. The Bucsa in the room, if you will. We got a big, tall Polish striker, hold-up player. I got his kit on the wall. When are we going to start seeing dividends pay out from Bucsa? I will say, week in and week out, I've been seeing improvements. He's putting it together piece by piece, and this team is still not fully assembled. Bruce is still making changes, and he's changing the lineup, the formation that we play, the style that we play. We went with a 2-striker attack this past weekend, and Teal and Bucsa together was a little bit of a shaky tandem, if I'm being kind. But it's been a lot of different variables going on, and I understand that he's still trying to put it together. but it needs to happen, and in my opinion, it needs to happen before the end of the year, or else we're not going to be seeing Bucsa in a blue 9 next year. And then, I mentioned before, Bruce has been making changes to this team. Since the COVID break, we have made 3 additions to the team. We have acquired, that's 4 additions to the team. We acquired Matt Polster from Rangers, and I think overall he's been a great addition despite his red card this past weekend. And then we traded for Kekuta Mane. I don't remember exactly what the trade was for, or what we gave up to get Mane, but we still haven't seen him play. I mean, he got 1 run out. Why did we make that acquisition if he's not going to be in there? I was talking about players to play in place of Pania. Let's put Mane out there. He's got speed, and we know he's got skill. He's had some very solid years in MLS in the past. It's been slow going for him the past few years, but we're not looking for him to go out there and score all the goals. We're looking for him or some other player to go out there and put the ball at the foot of our strikers. So why haven't we seen Mane? What's the reason there? I want to know. But then in another piece of shrewd business, we got Tommy McNamara for Wilfred Zahibo. And I think there was some GAM or TAM exchange in that as well. And McNamara has been such a delight of a surprise since he came over. I did not expect him to have the impact that he's having. I did not expect him to have more minutes than Kekuta Mane. And so far, it's been the Tommy McNamara show. He's come with more energy than my 4-year-old son has. He has an engine that doesn't stop, and he's making smart passes. And he's really been opening up the midfield a lot for us. And I think that he has been such an asset, and it's almost goes underestimated with how much value he's adding to this team right now. And then, of course, we have the most recent acquisition where we got Lee Win for a 4th-round draft pick, which I didn't know existed, and up to $50K in GAM. Of course, we've only seen Lee Win play in 1 game for us so far, and he made an immediate impact in the 15 to 20 minutes or so that we got to see him. But we do know Lee Win, of course, from his long history of playing with the New England Revolution. And all we can do is hope that he brings just a piece of his old self back. That's really going to do it for my rant today. I don't want to take up too much time on this video, and I also want to get your thoughts. I want your input. Please let me know in the comments below what you think. Are there any other players that I'm not mentioning that you think deserve more criticism? Any players that deserve more credit? You know, I didn't mention anything about Gustavo Bo, who, like Bucsa, is a designated player, making big money, but he's been performing. I haven't said anything negative about Teal Bunbury, so I am sorry to all you Teal haters, but I don't have anything negative to say about him right now. So let me know in the comments below, who else should I have been talking about? What should we be thankful for? Is my outlook totally off on this? I'd love to know. So yeah, follow me on Twitter @Revolt. You can email me. Please email me. I'm still waiting for my emails. I'm going to say this every week until you email me. Email me, revsrevolt@gmail.com. And then, of course, you can find me on Twitch. I am now streaming my recordings live on Twitch. And that's twitch.tv/revsrevolt. And until next week, guys, have a great one. Peace.